Hi, my name is Abigail Morgan, and I'm a junior at Belton New Tech High School at Wascow. And I wanted to share about my experience of going on a mission trip to the Dominican Republic because I value community service.
Hi, Abigail. Why did you decide to participate on this mission trip?
So I recently got plugged into Vista Community Church, and I felt that I needed to go and try and help out the people in the Dominican because I heard about the mission trip, and I just felt like I needed to go and participate in it.
How did you become interested in community service?
So my freshman year at New Tech, I got plugged into a club called Key Club, and it's a community service organization, and we basically go out and try and serve our community by getting plugged into different organizations. So like Feed My Sheep, which serves food to the homeless, and we do park cleanups. It's just like little things here and there. So I had already been exposed to community service, and I felt like I wanted to reach out globally.
What did your group set out to do in the Dominican Republic?
So we essentially set out to spread God's love towards the Dominicans, and the way we did that was we visited a village called Severe, and there was a medical clinic there, and we basically did reconstruction. So we built a sidewalk, we created playground equipment, we painted walls in the house. We basically were just building up this medical center because it was a need that the people in Severe did. And while we were there, we also built relationships with the Dominicans, trying to just love on them and be support. So.
What was the most impactful experience while you were there?
We visited another village called Ascension, and we basically went to a feeding drive, and we had to serve food to the needy, and so that was definitely very hard for me emotionally because it's very different than a feeding drive in the U.S. So just seeing the kids and seeing some of the families, it was very emotional. So that was hard for me to do.
What was the most challenging task you had to do in the Dominican Republic?
So the most challenging thing we had to do is actually we had to build a sidewalk. So the way you had to do that was, it wasn't like in the U.S. Like we had to go out and we had to get the rocks, we had to get the sand, and we had to get the water. And it was a process. You had to like get wheelbarrows and put like an even proportion amount of rocks and sand and water, and then you had to put it in a big pile and use shovels to mix everything by hand, and then you could start seeing the concrete like being formed and made, and then we'd have to wheelbarrow the concrete over to the section where we were building the sidewalk. And so that was a very long and very tiring process, and it definitely made our backs hurt, but it was worth it in order to give the Dominicans a sidewalk.
Sounds like it was worth it. What were the Dominicans like?
So the Dominicans they were filled with joy, and they were just happy, and they were willing to help out. Like when we were building our sidewalk and we didn't know what we were doing, some of the Dominicans, like, they know how to build a sidewalk. That's part of their life. And so they would come alongside us and they would just gladly like guide us on how to do it. And they were just willing to jump in and help each other out. And it was really cool to see how in their living circumstances, how much joy they can have. So that was really cool.
What did you learn while serving out of state?
I learned that you don't need to have a lot in order to be happy. Like, you can find joy in the little things and just with the people you surround yourself with. So like in the U.S., we have there's people who have like a bunch of things and possessions, but they don't have joy. But the people in the Dominican, they didn't have a lot, and they were still able to have a lot of joy in their hearts. So that's one thing I learned.
How did you take what you learned in the Dominican Republic and apply it to your everyday life?
So one thing I took was I wanted to be able to encourage others to have a servant heart. And so one way that I did that was just sharing my experience with other people. And just I wanted to influence other people to be willing to go out and serve in their community and actually want to get involved and serve others.
What are your goals for Key Club?
So my goals for Key Club is I just want to inspire more people to have a certain leadership heart and to go out and be willing to serve.
Would you go on another mission trip again?
Yes, I definitely would go on another mission trip again. that experience is something that's like once in a lifetime, and it's a completely different ball game from serving in your community locally to serving globally. So yes, I would definitely go again.